Everyone has heard of Wii Sports, and most of which have played it. It was bundled in with the Nintendo Wii, so you couldn't really avoid it. This was the game to initially show off the Wii remote controls, and it proved successful. If you're old enough to remember, there was a huge demand for the system on release due to its unique way of playing games and its ridiculously low price of £180. Bearing in mind the PlayStation 3 was only just out on the scene at a huge price of £400 plus. Lucky people like me got one of these early and soon realised it was a bit of a gimmick, and most games were just a ball ache to play. I'm not saying they are shit, but there were a lot of games that should have been buried, like E.T. Some games used motion features quite well, like Sports Game, where you can swing your arms around like an idiot and eventually lose grip of the remote control and smash the TV. They did supply wrist straps to prevent this from happening, but be honest, you never used them. And launching the remote at the TV happened a lot. As I found in my old job, there were people trying to claim a new TV under warranty and make out it just cracked. But when there's a Wii under the TV, it becomes apparent they are lying bastards, and the fact the crack is obviously an impact break by something thrown at it. You get 5 games in this little bundle, and they are tennis, baseball, bowling, golf and boxing. At the main screen you'll have your sports on the left and training and fitness in the bottom right. Training is what it says it is, and that's all the sports with the different sections of training. This is quite useful if you're no good at any of the sports. Most of this will be explained when you play the game for the very first time anyway. Fitness will allow you to practice your technique in the games. Like in tennis, instead of playing a game, you'll just have an opponent serving 50 balls at you, and you can practice returning them. And as for the games, in tennis you can choose up to 4 players, and it really doesn't matter if you just play on your own. You don't have to move your character around, the computer will do that for you. All you need to do is swing. If timed right, you can smash the ball when serving, giving you an advantage sometimes as the opponent may miss the ball completely. You won't need any skill to play this, just quick reactions. This is all good fun, but when you realise you don't actually have to move to play the game, it removes the fun element from them, as you can just sit on your ass and flick your wrist. Boxing. This seemed like a great idea. You had the nunchuck in one hand and the Wiimote in the other, and you jab like a bastard and hope you land some hits. A steady hand and good timing will get some good hits in, but it's not accurate. You can raise the remotes to block, which does work quite well, but most of the time you'll box like Freddie Flintoff. This is more fun with the second player who is suffering the same controls as you. This I found to be one of the worst games to play. It's good, but it feels like there's a huge delay in reactions, and landing a hit was just pure fluke. Golf. Trying to show off your strength in this one doesn't really work, as you only need to swing lightly to get full power. Go too far and the ball will stray. There's wind to deal with, as well as various angles in the terrain. You can adjust the direction you swing with the D-pad and move into position by holding the B button. If you take your time with this one, then it's okay, but again, like boxing, it's not accurate. Sometimes you'll have your arms in full swing position when your Mii character will have barely lifted his club, or vice versa. Putting most of the time is fine, but you need to make sure you take into account the direction the green is leaning, and know how much power you'll require to put your ball. Overshoot and frustration begins as you try to do gentle swings and your character goes mental and twats the ball. This won't happen all the time, but still a bastard when it does. This may be better with more players, but it's not quick fun. If you like golf on the Wii, then I'd recommend a proper golf game. Baseball. This one is good even if it's against a computer. Again, it doesn't matter about how much strength you have. It does make a difference how hard you swing, but you don't need to act like you're trying to cut down a tree. It's great if you can get your timing right, but you may find yourself hitting a few foul balls to begin with. But when you get used to it, then it becomes a lot of fun, especially when you have another player to go against. The boring bit is you have to swap to pitching, which is very boring. But you can hold A or B to throw the ball to make it curve through the air to make your opponent miss the ball. Doing this will give you a big advantage, as they'll either miss the ball completely or cock up their hit. Bowling. Everyone's favourite, I'm sure. This is great against other players and will give you hours of fun. It's not deadly accurate, but you can pull off some good moves. However, the biggest pain with this is that if you have more than 3 players on one game, it can be a long time before you get your turn. Aiming is easy, where you can just use the D-pad to move left or right and switch position with the A button to change the angle. Holding the B button will start your character walking, and letting go while swinging your arm forward will let go of the ball. Strikes can be achieved quite easily, but turkeys are a little bit more tricky. It really is third time lucky. This is probably the best multiplayer game on here, as it has long sessions and hours of fun with proper competition. Winning games will award you points, which will tally up to eventually becoming a pro. I can't remember the advantage of this, but I do remember getting a golden bowling ball. But if you lose your games, it will lower your points. As a packing title, this is actually really good, and at the time it was something fresh and unique that would have the families having fun together, as well as arguing and household items being smashed. It still remains to be a popular game today, and for some reason it's holding its value. I don't mean big money, but it's not a couple of quid like you'd expect it to be. So, if you're bored tonight, maybe you should dust it off and give it a go.
40-15. Match point.